All right. Good evening, everybody. I went ahead and checked to see if there were any lives up, so I decided to go ahead and start this since there weren't any on at the moment. This will be the today's evening live stream chat for fellow target individuals. I know a lot of us tend to be going through a lot of targeting as far as a lot of the sleep deprivation, a lot of the noise harassment, all kinds of stuff. Let me tell you something though. I'm actually using my anti-nano bucket right now, and I have gotten so much of this stuff out of my system that the freaking perps are freaking out. I can literally feel this nano, not the little speck bots. I'm talking about something actually like something like in a squiggly line, like just moving around in the bucket itself right now. I can literally feel this stuff right now. Now, I came up with several different combinations that you could basically use for this bucket. Now, for anybody who's wondering, there really isn't nobody in the chat at the moment right now. But this, for when the this broadcast is uploaded, when it's done, which will be like around 12, I wanted people to understand like there's other things that they can do with their anti-nano bucket to really screw up their tech. Now, we all know that red wine, like the nanotech can't stand red wine, right? So what if you mix that with the stuff that you're using, like with the borax and all that stuff to detox it out of your system, and the distilled water, mix a little bit of that. Now, I'm not trying that. I'm not using that. But that's just the suggestion. What I'm using now is both borax, what else? Some vinegar. I'm using that as well. So, not really vinegar, but vegetable oil, some type of oil, whether it's vinegar or just any kind of oil, like it's either olive oil, vegetable oil, vinegar, anything like that. Vinegar is the one with the herbalist actually recommended. So I guess either one will be fine. There's also you also want to put like some sea salt in there as well, some iodine salt. Put that in there too. Now tea bags, green leaf tea bags is another thing. That's actually what I'm using now. This nanotech cannot stand that, and this stuff is literally just exiting out. Like it just can't even stand being around there. And at the same time as exiting out, it's being deactivated, even as I speak. Now, I've gotten quite a lot of this stuff out of my system right now, man. A lot. But today's subject is going to be about something that recently happened. Turns out, I'm pretty sure some of you have already noticed that eBay had 6 executives arrested. And hang on, I'm not seeing the chat. Oh, that's Matrix. Hey, Matrix, sorry about that. I'm just now. I literally just clicked on the icon, so I didn't even notice. And I'm actually doing all right now. But like I said earlier, 6 executives basically from eBay got arrested, and it turns out the reason why they got arrested was actually for organized stalking. Now, this I ended up checking out Michael Barden's channel, and he actually, that gave him the leeway to go ahead and place his complaints forward. So at the first time they had it to where like they were saying, oh well, like we're just gonna just discredit this. No, nobody from eBay would do anything like that. But then we see what happened just a few days ago. So now they don't have that excuse anymore. Now they gotta look into it. But they're still using an excuse saying, well, we gotta like let law enforcement, I mean, I get there's regulations and stuff, but law enforcement, when it comes to this, the enemy is like already invaded in the law enforcement. I mean, not saying all cops are bad, but hey Rose, how's it going? It's like we got a total of 3 people in the chat today. Oh man, I wanted to play a clip from the game known as Metal Gear Solid 3, but I'm afraid that this would get copyrighted if I did. So what I will do after this ends, I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description. Basically, it's just voice lines from both him and the character known as Paramedic. It is freaking hilarious. Definitely worth checking out. I mean, you gotta find, even in a world with this much chaos going around, you gotta at least take your mind off of that every now and then. But you know, it's not easy to even do that because like everywhere you go online, it's there. Even if you're not online, even when you go outside, it's there. Yeah, man, yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite games right there. Preferably number 3 though. Number 3 and they said 5 was a really good one, but I never was able to beat it. It was just too much going on at the time when I had it. But man, I think I might actually plan on staying in this dang on bucket until tomorrow morning, but it's gonna be awkward trying to sleep like that. I don't know. Like, as I know, these salts, they tend to dissolve after a while, so I probably won't be able to really use it for that long. I think maybe I'll just use this until the chat is done. But most of this nanotech is like all converted down to where literally just all converted almost completely out of my body right now, just from using the bucket alone. I know I'm starting to second guess whether I should make the barrel. But honestly, the barrel is like the quickest way to detox this stuff out of your system. Because the only reason why it takes like it's a long process is because, well, like it's got to go all the way through your system, and it drains out through your feet. But on another subject, something interesting happened earlier today, and this actually was like no later than like 2.5 hours ago. Now, I came across a video. I've already posted it on the channel here and as well as on the guide channel. Turns out, Antifa, since the areas where they got concentration camps and all that stuff at, where they got it on lockdown and all that stuff, it turns out there's a lot of dirty stuff happening down there to a lot of good people, and they're trapped in there. They're completely trapped in there. And it's not just adults who are being victimized from their BS, but it's also the kids out there too. And it's a very, very messed up situation. Now, when I was trying to upload this for everybody to see, I was desperately trying to get as many people to share that vid to, so people would know. What happened was that the perps actually was trying to hack my device. Literally, I was watching as the battery was draining down. And man, sitting there watching the battery draining down, then I had to figure out like how to fix that situation to where I'll be able to upload it, because it seems like they were really trying to prevent me from uploading that video to the guide channel. It took me around almost a full hour just to get that done. Crazy. But I was able to get that through. Luckily a lot of people was able to see that. And then I looked at the videos on this channel, and then I started to realize like the shadow banning stuff is real, man. The shadow banning is real, like seriously real. They'll have it to where like there'll be people seeing your content, but they'll have it showing as if it's like it's like nobody's seeing it. They basically try to, as an attempt to discourage you or whatever, But definitely good news. We're getting many different larger platforms to be aware of what's going on. It's not even so much as them being aware, but now they have the knowledge to basically also protect themselves from what this does, which is the best, which is the key thing, because they gotta be informed on how to defend themselves against this, because we can't allow that to basically dwindle our numbers of people trying to push for peace, people trying to push for this corruption to end for good, and literally just to get these people who are just literally pushing for this agenda BS at this point, the people who are like pushing for that, man, the people who are literally pushing for like all of this agenda stuff to be, to be accepted, the people who are working for that, they are literally domestic. They have literally gone far and beyond to to actually have themselves as domestic terrorists. I mean, I know about the programming thing, and I know like about like how bad the systems and stuff is, considering that like technically what these gang stalkers do, like with the choice reference pattern thing, because you'll see them do it. You literally see you'll see it through their behavior. Like how like they have to do everything that's basically being stated, and yet they're the same people who basically lace this nano smart dust stuff around. So the fact that they would, and trust me, like this is like the second time I've witnessed a perp have this stuff on their skin. This stuff was on this guy's skin. The very first time I caught this was when they were trying to psyop me with the mail carrier. I just ignored the mail carrier, and I just saw a female perp walking down the hallway. I ignored her too. I was just going straight to my apartment, and that's when I made it towards the elevators, and then that's when I saw the guy there, literally just rubbing his hand, lacing the doorknob right next to where the elevators were at. I'm like, this guy is so effing lucky I did not have a camera out, because there's no way they're gonna give me the footage of that hallway of him doing that, because like that would just immediately expose a lot of stuff that's going on. Because I mean, sure, they would say, well, like it is odd behavior, but if you were to put like if you were to like into biology, you'd be able to bring up a whole lot more questions to that scenario there. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if you guys are interested in getting into any type of biology, they actually sell USB microscopes. Something you can just connect to your phone, and you'll be able to view the stuff in that microscopic size. You don't have to worry about buying a huge expensive type of microscope just to view the stuff. And even best of all, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the device actually has a programming to where like it actually connects itself with the camera, so you actually be able to see through the viewfinder of that microscope right on your screen. So if you mix that with a screen recorder, you're good to go, and you be able to have all the evidence of all the nanotech that's literally like so small that it's invisible to the naked eye. But that's the biggest thing. But please, everybody, be careful when you go grocery shopping, because they tried poisoning me twice just between yesterday and today. They literally tried poisoning me twice. I'm finding defective goods amongst the groceries I bought. I've already mentioned this before. The loaf of bread had its packaging slightly ripped open. The thing of juice that I normally get, which is basically it has amino acids in it. It's like a lime type of juice, so it really kills off this nanotech. They ended up lacing that, and I'm just like, I mean, if I see this, even if I spend money on it, I'm throwing it in the trash. But you can't, when you do that, you can't throw it in the trash in your home. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is, because like it's like the minute you're there, like they already are just there waiting for you. It's crazy, and I can't just get over it how fake these gang stalkers are. Like, a person who was that addicted to money, the root of all evil, has to be programmed in some way. A person who would literally and willingly put smart dust on their skin. I mean, I would understand if they had maybe some compound that kills the stuff off. Maybe they can shut it off or get it off the person's body. but it's different when they're still breathing the same air that we breathe. And I'm seeing them drinking sodas, which contains high fructose corn syrup, by the way. Um, and them just eating the stuff that actually has a lot of this nano stuff based in, and it gets to the point to where I'm convinced that these individuals are just really that far gone. But it doesn't mean that they're not any less dangerous than than any other criminal out there. I mean, whenever you go out, you got they're there to basically lace your doorknobs to your home. They're there to do this, do that. They're there to lace whatever food you try to buy. Constantly following you around everywhere you go. Let me tell you something though. They better not try that shit when I go off grid. Don't. Don't. Because it's not going to be a fun situation if they try that off grid. It's one thing, I'm a law abiding citizen, so I'm within the states, but like that's like trying to go to a farmer's freaking field, and what a farmer does if he catches trespassers on his lawn, not so much his lawn, but it's his property. He's that bastard's they literally have it to where like they shoot warning shots, because like at that point, like it's a whole nother scenario. Now, I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying that it's different. And when you start looking back into the more hold on, we got more people joining in. Looks like we got uniquely made warrior. How's it going? See, and Napoleon Solarist. Did we get anybody else in? Because we got like a total of 6. Okay, and I think I've already said hello to Rose. Anyway, but yeah, man, but honestly though, I don't know if you all saw the other video, just to be safe. If anybody wanted to, I would honestly recommend you to basically research that shopping network that the video that I basically posted not too long ago. But if anybody wanted a non-lethal shot glove, they apparently there's a manufacturer that makes them, and it turns out, judging from what's said in the description, turns out the SWAT teams and the police units actually use these types of gloves. But I'm guessing it's more for the tactical teams, for when they when they go out through riding situations. You'll see all that heavy duty gear they got. It turns out that surprisingly not, they definitely have a marketplace for them. The only thing is you just gotta find it. But you see, it's stuff like that that does come in handy as far as protection of oneself. But if when push comes to shove, it's best to go with the non-lethal. It's best to go with the non-lethal. But considering the control of what's going on is why it's important for people to basically detox this stuff out of their systems. You see just how crazy these individuals are for control. You see this every day. It's nothing but a constant fight of them, basically you trying to fight the programs they laced onto you. Let me tell you something. I have extracted so much nanotech out of my system that I can actually read the programming that they're trying to basically send to me, to my brain, via frequency. I can read it as it's showing up, and I'm able to just reject it just like that. Now I'm starting to understand why they try to create post-traumatic stress so much, because the post-traumatic stress renders you more able to be controlled. Your mind won't be able to pick up on the subliminal messaging that they're beaming to you, so you won't be able to counteract it by saying, no, I'm not doing that. No, you won't be able to reject the thoughts, because it ends up accidentally becoming recognized as as a natural thought, when in reality it's actually a foreign thought, not generated by you, but generated by these machines of what these criminalized individuals are doing. I went over 2 articles so far, and both of them keeps pointing towards nuclear power plants. 2 articles. Now I see a lot of videos of a lot of like a lot of. I'm not talking about TIs, but I'm talking about like just whenever it comes to certain evidence pointing out of certain things, but this relates either to all. It relates either to the police, it relates either to the FBI, the CDC, the military, but I don't ever see anything being mentioned about the power plants. And then I find two articles that basically saying that that's like basically the heart of it all. And when you think about it, technically the nuclear power companies are the ones who basically who are actually people involved in like certain types of nuclear warfare, Let me see what the comments have there. Oh man, I don't even know. I think we got like a few more months until October hits. But you all definitely, if anything, I'm telling you, make your preparations while you can. Get the equipment. Get yourself a generator if you can. Get yourself a what's that? Not just a generator, but also a solar panel for off grid too. Get yourself some type of surveillance equipment just to be safe, and get yourself some security equipment for your own protection. Because again, if you decide to go off grid, do not go off grid unarmed. Because I stated before, I say it again. If you go off grid alone, unarmed, what's going to stop them from coming after you off grid with guns? And I mean, you see what they're doing in the city, so you got to be safe. Got to be. Now, as far as Baton Rouge is concerned, I know Vulcan Wolverine is out here. Kyle, he's out here, and I know there's also another TI that's out here as well. It's a family of two. I know they're out here because they had actually held a protest against this stuff, and what happened was one of the perps actually showed up at their protest. Let me tell you something. She really stood out. She had her hair dyed pink, and they had photographs to prove that she actually was one of the stalkers that was basically showing up constantly. Now, there's them, but there's also about 3 others I need to basically find and contact. I haven't been able to do that as of yet due to a lot of unnecessary situations that happen. Those unnecessary situations have already been long and done with, so now I got time. But it's not going to be easy to find them, though. As you all know, how they like to shadow ban channels. Honestly, I think it's definitely the duty of every single target individual to try to find other fellow TIs out there in their own neighborhoods, connect with them, and also be careful, because we do have infiltrators who love to play off as their TIs. But here's what I got to say: anybody who's playing as a TI, they've stalked somebody, right? They had to have. At some point, if they're a street perp, they would have had to have stalked somebody. Hence why a lot of these perps don't show their faces on social media. You know that you probably have noticed them once or twice in your comment sections talking a whole bunch of unnecessary trash. But they don't want to show their face because they don't want to be identified by the people they have stalked previously. The more and more I think about what's going on now, the more and more I can only imagine. I got a lot of family out there. A lot of family. And I can only imagine what the sheer magnitude of what they're dealing with right now. I can only imagine. We got all of this, something I know like this, and I'm just curious. We got all of this madness happening, right? But nobody has mentioned anything about Las Vegas. But you see, I mean, I'm just curious, like, I'm just wondering, like, because, like, they must be like really hit pretty damn bad because that city, that area depends on tourist attraction. So can you imagine how it's down there like without no tourist attraction right now? I mean, all of us like have family everywhere, and when you think about stuff like that, it really gets you to wonder because, like, I mean, if you can't get any funds in to like into your cities or your neighborhoods like that, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but there's the noise harassment, the closing of the doors, the sliding stuff along the floor. I'm gonna bring this a bit closer so you guys can get a good earful of that. This is just so you know what they're doing. Now they're not gonna do anything because there is a camera out there, but it's just a psyop attempt. Again, for people who needs to know what this is, they're not. I repeat, it's not that they won't do anything. It's not that they won't. If they have no choice, trust me, they will attempt to do something really stupid. But the point is that these perps are technically weak, very weak. Problem is, if you're being hit with these directed energy weapons. Wait, hold on, what did Napoleon have to say? Nuclear plants produce energy, different licenses, different types of facilities, different equipment are needed to produce weapons. I see. It's about to get, yeah, it definitely is. I'm actually looking to start getting myself a few just a regular pit, like I think maybe like a Smith and Wesson handgun and a shotgun. But I'm gonna get my licenses for that first. I'm not gonna have this, but you know something, I'm wondering about that, like, because like even if you like get yourself armed, like do you have to have like like some type of license for you to just, because like it's not gonna be easy for me to just leave off grid with that, you know. It's definitely not gonna be easy, but I'm gonna definitely figure out a way. But what everybody needs to know, everybody when they do that noise harassment or when they do the verbalization threats or anything like that, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Don't. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the main reason as to why they do that, and I even had this in one of the articles that I read through. The main reason they do that is because the whole thought of a threat being carried out, but it hasn't happened yet. The more, like, you see, they want you to stress on that thought. That, like, it's something that they say they're going to do, but it seems like time keeps passing and they don't do it. It's bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit. It's not something to be worried about. Don't worry about them. Live your life. Don't let them get you in a position where, like, you can't enjoy your life. You need to enjoy your life while you can. Don't let them strip that happiness away from you. That's why, like, I definitely recommend TIs. You got to take a break from time to time from this stuff. It's good to get the truth out, but like, you have to take a break because constantly just seeing this stuff, man, it's not healthy, and we have to live around these insane individuals on a daily basis. I mean, clearly all of us don't want a damn thing to do with them. And I mean, it's just the way I see it. It's just pretty obvious. People, those types of people, just would not survive. I mean, without this system, not nowhere near as well as without the system. Nowhere near, because when they earn that money, they depend on going to the store. They don't know how to hunt. They depend. I mean, it's the same. I could say the same thing about just about anybody else, but I'm basically just making a point here. They depend on the system so much that they are willing to basically sell their soul away for money. They're willing to throw everything away, their sanity, all of that stuff in a gutter, just for a quick buck. And they know. I mean, come on, man. They tried stopping me from uploading that vid that recently got uploaded to the channel. So I know they have a full awareness as to what this organization is doing. I mean, these perps have kids themselves and they're working for an organization like this. There's no way they're not programmed. There's no way. But it's those types of people that are so dangerous that they're not just dangerous towards themselves, they're dangerous to the people around them. Oh, still got a whole bunch of prepping to get done. I still got to make the anti-nano buckets. And it's not even just that. It's just so much stuff going on. You know something? I actually had that actually reminds me, Matrix. I actually had a friend that did that when I was a kid. I remember but damn, that was a long time ago. I know they usually grow a lot in the front lawn during the summertime, definitely. Or was it during the spring? It's during one of those times. But yeah, people are definitely starting to wake up a lot when it comes to this targeting program. People are starting to see precisely what it is now that a lot of this corruption is like out there in the open. Um, it's just starting to become so obvious. You even got some of these perps who are so reckless that they like, publicly distribute threats, and then when you look back at the situation that the news was covering of them, basically people who are talking about the gang stalking. Who are the people they went after when they wanted an interview? Quite simple. The people they went after most likely were, most likely they probably were TIs, possibly. But in the situation like this, is a very difficult scenario. But I'm not going to just say, no, they're just paid opposition. I won't say that unless I see it for myself first. Now, they choose the people with the less, who don't have all that information like we have, that exposes all of this stuff, that exposes the people who lie and then play things off, who are basically are just paid opposition. I noticed that trend that they never go to channels like that. They always go to channels that, show exactly what's going on, and we know what's going on, but it's the psyop. It's a damn psyop, so people are just not gonna, know unless they see footage of the same thing being perpetrated by many different people over a long period of time. That's when it becomes more apparent. And if you if you all have seen Nappy Headed Roots' channel, you see the exact same thing happening with different people. Exact same thing. There's no way nobody can say that man ain't being stalked. Anybody can't say all of us are being stalked. They can't. And if they call us schizophrenic, well, they're part of the problem. They're part of the paid off opposition who seeks to basically strip all of us of our freedoms and our rights. It's just sad, man, because nobody should ever have to go through this crap. Nobody, man. Nobody should ever have to be going through having to have their own sanity being threatened by these damn weapons on a daily basis. Napoleon, I have to disagree, man. I have to disagree. Nappy Headed Roots does have a lot of evidence. Again, to each his own on that. You got your opinion, I got mine on that. Okay, but as I stated before, many different things happen. When you have the same cross-reference pattern happening over and over and over again for or going on a year to a month or so, no offense, but something's wrong at that point. A lot of the symbolisms, same things. You can see what's going on there, and then if you look back and look at other targeted individuals, videos and what they're pointing out, you see it's the exact same patternization, exact same signs, exact same color coordinations, exact same behavior, exact same tactics. The whole point of a psyop is to basically be transparent to those who they don't want to be identified by. Now, who are those people they don't want to be identified by? Those just common folk who are not target individuals of yet, but basically everybody's a target individual at this point because, like, I mean, everybody's being sprayed with chemtrails. Everybody's being, surveyed by the deep state through all their phones and stuff like that, through all this facial recognition, especially if you use Facebook, which I highly recommend people to not use Facebook because what those bastards do. Let me tell you something, man. Facebook is so corrupt. They are collecting data on people who do not even use their platform. Napoleon, sorry, bro, but if you need, I mean, look, I'm open to discussion about it, but if you need proof, look back at my older videos, okay? Just look back on there, see the evidence for what it is. There's plenty of video footage. Well, not video footage, but there's plenty of photographed evidence showing the biohazard containment things all throughout the planes that are flying around. Well, hey, to each his own on that one. I mean, you're free to think whatever you want to think. I'm free to think whatever I want to think. But even contrails is vapor, dude. And it shows the different, you know something? I'm not even going to get into that. And I ask you kindly, please do not flood the chat, because this is basically a chat for TIs to basically have a decent discussion. Again, Napoleon, I'm asked nicely, please do not flood the chat. Oh, you stopped? Yeah. I definitely don't blame you for that. But man. You can ask. Do the government at? I mean, they basically did. They basically did. And not only that, it isn't just that. I mean, it's just as I said. I could literally wait for them to basically send out a chemtrail. I can get a sample of the rainwater, and actually see what's in that. The same water coming from the sky. Now, what is going to happen if the same stuff they're lacing onto me is being seen under the microscope? That's the same stuff that's coming from the sky after a chemtrail. Like I said, I'm open to discussion about it, but like if you're here to to try to, basically, how should I say? If you're here to basically try to hide the truth, please, I'm gonna ask you not to. The people who, if you are being paid off, man, don't. There are many chemicals in the atmosphere. Well, yeah, there basically are. There basically are. You see, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm open to having an open discussion about a lot of things, because even as we look for certain information, the enemy puts a lot of disinformation, misinformation out there. They put a lot of that out there. So I'm not against second guessing even the stuff that I find, but I know for a fact that what they're doing to me is what they're doing to a lot of other people. And I mean, come on, man. We know that contrails don't linger in the sky for a while. So you can't tell me that a contrail is going to linger in the sky for a while, because we know it doesn't. Contrail is supposed to be vapor, right? And we're seeing actual photographic evidence of tankers that's supposed to, hold that, because you don't need no biohazard symbol for no damn for no type of tanker for vapor. You don't need that. But when you start seeing that stuff there, I mean, it's a whole different scenario. So I mean, are we supposed to just pretend that's not happening? And this is what I'm basically saying to any perp out there. Okay? When you are supporting a terrorist organization like this, you need to understand that you're supporting the destruction of your own kin. Remember, you have family across the globe too, just as well as us TIs do. Now, Napoleon, I'm not calling you a perp in any way, shape, or form. I have no knowledge of whether you are or not, but I'm only asking you just be respectful to the thing, and just not trying to have this go overboard in any kind of way. But okay, I'm out of here. You need seriously? Wow. I tried having a decent discussion, but okay, whatever. I only asked nicely for them not to flood the chat with a whole bunch of messages, but that's about it. And I mean, like, if a person does have like a legitimate argument, they can just like leave a link and their comment down in one of the videos. I'm open to having an actually honest, open discussion about that. Because maybe there's something I overlooked. Maybe there's something I didn't look. But, I mean, you can't just... I mean, after all that has been seen, all that has been found out, like, it's a very difficult situation. And I know they do try to debunk stuff like that. And I've proven that. I've proven that with that dude named Chuck. How he was basically... literally that guy was literally making fun of TIs, literally making fun of people being assaulted by cops. So I literally went straight to his channel. I had a decent. I tried to be as polite as possible. I didn't jump the gun. I didn't swear. I didn't say anything like that. I asked politely, but I made sure I asked several different times, not rudely, but politely. I mean, like, why are you comfortable with this? I mean, if you need proof. I mean, we got it. We have proof if you want to see it. But no offense, if they're the types of people who like don't want to see the proof and just sit there saying no, you just don't know what you're talking about. That person is obviously paid opposition at that point, and I don't think anybody else, anybody else would know. After seeing something like that, there's clearly something questionable about that, which is why all of us TIs definitely have to go after those channels who do stuff like that. We have to, because they may be blinding somebody who is not even who wouldn't even be supportive of that, which is what they do with your neighbors. They do that with your people who you work with. They do that with a whole lot of people. A lot of people, man. And it's a very difficult. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm gonna keep the video going all the way up until 12, though. I'm not gonna stop it just because some people jumped out. Because there may be some other people who will see this and jump right on anyway. There's a lot of there is a lot of misinformation out there, though. There really is. In the medical industry, both in science. And we see in evidence even today that they basically are trying to oh man, they're trying to rewrite certain things. And I remember the first time this happened was with the math thing. Like, people were saying some odd things about math, and I'm like, wait a minute. So what? Like, if they're trying to change math all of a sudden, then what the crap was everybody studying for the past like several freaking years? And at that point, I'm like, yeah, something is just not right. And then the more and more I started looking into it, I'm starting to see a lot of corruption. I remember the very first time I actually started looking into corruption was around the time that, now I was aware of it, but the very first time I started looking into it was during, sometime after the Great Louisiana Flood, right? And I remember there was this homeless guy saying that the FEMA had a whole bunch of people, like, homeless people stored up in the warehouse, and they were literally just executing them off. One of the guys out there was basically being interviewed. He was also a homeless man too. He was being interviewed by a newscaster, and the dude literally said it right there on the national news, saying, "Man, I didn't go in there because, well, they're killing them in there." Newscaster ends up just trying to play it off like nothing even happened. Then we're seeing evidence that apparently Walmart is involved with underground bunker systems, like underground channel systems. And we're seeing, now this was during the time where the Obama administration was in power. And we're seeing all of this stuff to where, like, they have a lot of these caskets ready. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, wait a minute. Was that something in preparation for that time frame? Or was that something that was being prepped for what we're going through right now? Because you see, whatever they do several months to years back is usually in preparation for something several years forward. Next thing you know, they had this whole breakout of this pandemic bullshit that comes out of nowhere, saying, "Oh, everybody got to wear his mask and this, that, and the other thing." But then when you turn on the TV, I don't even watch television. I just literally watch through the internet, and that's it because of what the TV does, because of that technology they got installed in it. But when you turn on the TV and you actually see those newsmen, those anchormen, those politicians, you'll see them all next to each other. They're telling you gotta wear a mask, but you don't see not a single one of them wearing a mask. And then all of a sudden, now we gotta, it gets a little bit later on, now we gotta wear a mask. You got Trump, who basically got blindsided, when he went to a factory. And of course they were gonna, it seems like every chance they get, they use something as an excuse just to bitch about that guy. But here's the problem though, and I'm not talking about Trump, and it's the entire government itself. The whole government system is controlled on both sides. There is no good side. There is no no good side. The whole thing is basically, it's like a divide and conquer operation within a divide and conquer operation, and so on and so forth. It's like it's the same thing, just like stacked up dominoes. Same thing, divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer this, divide and conquer that, divide and conquer the yada yada yada, and it's just so repetitive that it's the same thing stacked on top of something else from the same thing, and onwards so forth. Now they're doing it with race, they're doing it with genders. They've been started doing it with genders, and now they got it going on between the same gender, and now they got it to where it's going towards sexual preferences and so on, like even more so. And it just seems like it seems like the issue is just keeps pointing into a more personal matter than it should. And I'm just like I mean, when I see this, I know I'm not an idiot, because I know what these gang stalkers are, and they literally are like the futuristic they're like literally the peeping toms from the damn future, like from Back to the Future. It's crazy. You see these people, I mean, they go in as far as literally doing alien like stuff that you would think aliens would do, literally mind reading with this technology, directed energy torture. And honestly, it's sad that people are going through this, man, because there are people who don't even know how to even detox themselves, even as I speak right now, who are just literally just going through endless amounts of torture. There are probably people out there who can't even detox right now, who can't even see that we found all of this stuff that actually can help, TIs to basically kick this technology's ass. That's most likely target individuals in the prison systems, target individuals in these Especially in the damn institutions. Even during all of this madness, a lot of them are in there still being heavily medicated with all of these unethical things, and it's really sad because when you think about like what's happening with the with big pharma right now, and all of those doctors and stuff that like and those nurses who are okay with actually is going on, not the ones who are speaking out about the corruption. I'm talking about the ones who are just complicit with this whole New World Order mess. You start to worry about them because like it's no telling what is going on. I mean, you can only imagine. Let me tell you something. I believe I did mention this before in one of the videos that I made, but I'm gonna mention it again. And this was a setup that they tried to use on me a while back. This was while I was still working too. Now, I'm leaving from I gotta go. It's the day where it's a work day, but I got time from where I'm leaving from home and going to I did go to Walmart. I did because I had to go get a money order. So I do that, right? All of a sudden, the cab driver. Now they have started fucking with the cab drivers too, by the way. Also the Uber drivers as well. So yeah, gang stalkers. They do work for Uber, and they do have agents of their bullshit in the cab industry as well. And then that reminds me. I looked back. Remember when the Uber drivers were fighting against the taxi drivers or the cab drivers? How pissed off they were at each other. Now, I'm seeing that there are perps in both those systems. So I'm like, were those two fighting each other? Like, who's getting paid more than the other? Like, what the? That's like a what the F moment. So it shows you that even they even are doing the divide and conquer with these perps too. And yet these idiots are still complicit with the same organization that's destroying them just as well as it's, destroying us. But anyway, I'm getting off the topic. Anyway, I wait for the cab driver to show up. She does. Turns out she's in nursing uniform. Suspicious. Didn't think much of it. And coincidentally, she starts talking about a relative of hers, how like he's all like really lost it all up in the head and all that, like how he's schizophrenic in a violent manner to where he had to be like institutionalized and stuff like that. Now I play along, right? I play along, and I'm going like, well, like no, I'm not schizophrenic, but again, I was playing along with the act, and I did it in a way to where like they literally called her up in front of me, no less, to try to change the situation because it was working in my favor. It was to the point to where like I could basically just get called schizophrenic, but in a way to where I could actually get actual financial help from it. Now, no, I'm not doing that. Period. Because there are people who most likely are like that, and who really do need help. I'm not saying everybody did it, but something. If there really are people out there who actually do need help like that, it's most likely as a reaction to a lot of the bullshit that's out there. Because as you see from these vaccinations, you see that the autism is, within the kids. You see that the autism is even going as far as to where they're in adulthood too. So it's definitely got to have something to do with the stuff that they're putting out there. But I was just messing with her. I was playing along, right? And they called her right up. Because the entire time I was in the taxi, they were recording me the whole time. They were watching all of that. And I ended up saying something, and they got her to a point where, like, it doesn't sound like yours is, like, very serious or anything like that. I just could not believe. Like, they thought I was going to be dumb enough to fall for that crap. And I'm like, no. Like, no. Like, no, I'm never going to do no harm to nobody. Even if they use these weapons on me, I still refuse. I refuse, man. I am not finna be the scapegoat for their bullshit. And I'll be damned if I let another TI be a scapegoat for their bullshit. I'm going to do what I can to help any TI out there by providing the necessary information for them to be able to protect both themselves and their families. Because this shit's not fair. In no way, shape, or form. I honestly, I believe God would tell you himself that, like, there's no way in any shadow of doubt that there is no forgiveness out there when your mind is being manipulated like that. You know, there's forgiveness, but you got to be willing to reach out for it. That's the thing. There's forgiveness for these game stalkers too if they're willing to turn a new leaf because for this shit to end. But it's no telling when that's gonna happen. I believe it's gonna get to a point to where like they really have no choice. You know, it's gonna get to a point where they really have no choice. But anyway, after that, she drops me off, and that was that. But it would be the first time something like that has happened. I believe I mentioned this. It may have been the last live stream or something like that. But that incident to where like that woman who I caught basically filming me on private property, pointed her out on the camera, went straight there. She tried to accuse me, of approaching her in a violent manner, which I didn't. All of a sudden, when I'm told to basically go to the HR office, they got two institutionalized guys. This wasn't the only time that something like this was signified. Ooh, excuse me. This was not the only time something like this was signified. When I was living in my old apartment, and I swear, nobody, not even the damn perps, can say crap about this. I don't give a damn what anybody has to say. There is no way at all that is a coincidence that a mentally institutionalized vehicle, like a hearse type of car. I think that was what it was looking like. But it literally said mental institute on the side of the damn car. It literally said that. It was like one of those miniature old looking hospital vans that you would see like way before the 21st century. It was kind of in that shape, but not like all fancy or whatever, not like that or whatever. And I'm like, dude, it's like around 6:30 to 7 o'clock in the morning. I literally got off of work and I'm heading home. It's like real early. Why in the hell would something like that be there? PSYOP. It was a point to where, to show me that. But let me tell you something. They had did so much dumb shit at my job, at my old job. It got to a point to where they really wanted to get rid of me because I was just not interested in their bullshit. But it's because now I'm not grateful for any of the crap that they've done, but I'm at least glad that I'm at least somewhat close to closure on what actually was going on with my own damn mother and my family. Because now what I'm seeing, what I'm going through, I'm looking back, as I stated before, and I'm seeing several different connections with a lot of stuff that just didn't make sense at the time. It's just a fucked up situation though, man. It's really messed up. But you know something? Even now, I'm still horrified at what would have happened to my mom because the coroner, after she passed, and I'll never forget this. The coroner didn't even tell me what her cause of death was. Didn't even mention it. I couldn't go there because there's no way I would have ever recovered of seeing such a sight. There's no way. The people who did go there was both my aunt and her sisters, her two sisters. Those are the people who went there to go, see it, and there's no way, man. There's no way a person just passes away in their apartment and their body is just sitting there decomposing over 2 freaking weeks. There's just no way. No way. So there had to have been somebody or something. Even the landlord had to have literally started asking something, and that's why I may have stated this before, but this is why it's important for us to even, go out and find these other fellow TIs out there who are not aware, who are not informed. Because I fear the same fate could happen to them, I can only imagine what Targeted Citizen is going through right now. I don't even know if he even made a new channel or not. I'm not even certain. I might have to check that out later on. But I'm still am on the lookout for other channels, because like there are channels out there with a lot of exposing evidence, but they shadow ban the crap out of these things that it's just so damn difficult to find them. You know, it's really that difficult to find these channels. It's like we're hitting the 11th hour mark there. We're like 3 minutes in. Got like an hour left before I end the live stream for the evening, or should I say for the morning? It's going to be morning when 12 o'clock hits. But definitely, you know, you guys don't just have to listen to me. The whole point of this is to basically have an open chat for several different, for all TIs out there who are subscribed to the channel, who just need somebody, to talk to, or is looking for some tips to basically handle situations, to, help them out during the day. That's basically what this is. I could ramble on for hours, but it's most likely nothing you haven't already heard. Everybody's been through a lot, Everybody has. Man, I think my brother's going through a lot of, it's probably a lot worse off than I am, because he's in Newark. He's he's living in a different area, and it's definitely not safe out there at all. Actually, now that I think about it, in fact, some of my other family is in different areas. Thanks, Matrix. There's a lot of bad neighborhoods out there, man. You got Detroit, you got Florida, and it's crazy because it's not so much as the states themselves that's bad. It's just the individuals who are making the problems that make them that way. And then when you really start going down the rabbit hole, seeing where all this corruption lies, you start to realize, well, it's no wonder why we got so much corruption. Is because the same organizations who were hired, or made to basically prevent it, are just being paid off to allow it. They're being paid off to allow certain people to do corruption, and they're paid to prevent certain oppositions from also doing that corruption as well. So they do arrest criminals, but they also aid criminals as well. So what's the point? They're doing both. You can't be both an innocent person and a criminal at the same time. That's just not possible. But I guess in this situation, man, I don't even know. I really don't know. People are being programmed left and right. These damn cell towers, they had the gall to literally install that stuff. Literally, while people were in their homes, man, and nobody, not a single news broadcast station, not a single one, not any of this stupid beast media bullshit brought up any of the old things that they were basically talking over, because you'll hear the statements of people from several different schools, not one but several, complaining about flu-like symptoms whenever they were inside the school. And it was just a situation where they couldn't pinpoint it where it was when they investigated it. It wasn't that they couldn't pinpoint it where it was that they were not going to. In fact, let me check out this battery. It looks like we're hit at 10%. Let me plug up the charger. I definitely had to get a blocker since they were messing with the battery on this thing. Oh, man. Haven't spoken to my family in a while. After finding out that I was being psyoped by some of my family members, not just psyoped, but even I'm just like, I still, despite the fact that they did what they did, I can't be mad at some of them, because there were several different situations to where I was in a position to where I needed help, and they were there to help me out. So like at the same time, I can't. Although what some of them did was wrong, I still can't get mad. But the best that I can do is to basically keep researching, like I'm doing now, to find information to free people from the system that basically causes them to rot, to have their souls rot away, so that that doesn't ever have to happen. Because I honestly believe there are people most likely being forced into these actions. You know, definitely, definitely my aunt too. Because I mean, I know when a person's being beamed with radiation. I can tell because you know when that first happens, you can feel that burning sensation, and it literally causes you to twitch every now and then when you feel that. I know because I've experienced that. These are some dark times we're living in right now. I ended up I actually a while back I actually was in a relationship, but I had to break that relationship off, not because I wanted to, but because I was concerned about the things that were going on. If y'all are not aware, I think I mentioned some bits of this before. I told her though, like I really didn't want her coming down here because like I had this uneasy feeling about the neighborhood I was in. I was already told the neighborhood had a lot of bad history behind it, and when I walk down the street, I see like it was just a lot of unnecessary things going on. Now, I really caught their attention when I started talking a lot of started talking about a lot of this, messed up stuff that was going on within the black community. And what I was stating is like, well, we got like a lot of black folks out there. Not all black folks are like this. They're not, but we had an issue to where like we had black folks basically being racist towards dark skinned black women. It was like, and a lot of these black folks were mostly in lighter in color. Some of them were even dark skinned themselves, and it just didn't make any damn sense to me at all. And I'm just like, the more and more I start researching this stuff, I'm seeing a lot of backward shit. And please pardon my language, but it's just the very act that I was actually around this stuff and then realize it at a younger age. I am grateful, but at the same time, I'm a little bit still just mad about it because like it's something they're using to blind the younger generation even now. From the term swag, from the N word, they made it. They try to make that into a good thing to use. And come on, man, we had a word to use. My brother from another mother, my sister from another mother. That unified everybody. It didn't even freaking matter what your damn skin color was. Nobody, and I do mean nobody has a way to basically decide what skin they're born in. Nobody can do that. So to get mad at somebody for that, just for that, I mean, wouldn't that be like no different than being mad at God? Because we're supposed to be made in God's image, right? So wouldn't somebody who does that, be angry at God himself? I mean, I'm not saying that like that's just how it is, but like that opens the door to basically more possibilities as to what really is going on. And a lot of people end up basically just running for stuff just for the heck of it, and they don't even really understand what that stuff really means. Hence the term swag. People didn't, when I was growing up and I was in high school and in elementary, there was a lot of people throwing that term around, but I never hung around those people. I didn't have a problem with them. It's just that like it just didn't make any damn sense, until I did the research. Now after I did the research, now I'm going like, okay, we got a problem, a big one. Because we don't need I don't have anything against people who like are either homosexuals or nothing like that. I don't care. The only types of people I have a problem with are the people who like try to enforce, and I do mean enforce, their own sexualities onto other people. The type of people who are saying, no, you don't even have a choice. You must be this, you must be that. Even after you tell them no, they still like this ridiculously insisting, no, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this. And then they have the goal to go around the people who are near you to say the same exact thing. Like it's a desperate attempt to just paint a damn picture trying to say, no, you're that. And I just started ignoring those types of people because it just wasn't, the ignorance just wasn't even worth the time to even deal with. It just wasn't. But I started like doing a lot of research, a lot about this stuff, and then I believe I did go over this, but just in case I didn't, it turns out like this issue really, and I'm telling you, man, like this happens a lot in Hollywood. It really does, a lot more often than people think. So when I turn on like whenever I look at the like on the internet, like YouTube, and I see stuff showing up going like, oh well, like racism this, racism that, and I'm going like, okay, if you want to open a discussion about that, like I mean, I support free speech, of course, but I'm not so you know, obviously I'm not supporting racism of any kind. No, I mean, like if a person's gonna go out and say whatever they're gonna say, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with that person, you know. Um, I find it very hypocritical. Like they would bring racism in an issue that basically fits their agenda, their narrative, but they would never address the problems within, or you know, within the their own races, as well. Like within the black community, they won't do it, and I just don't understand why. Why is it that we just have this, hush, don't tell thing going on? Like don't, like this whole fear mongering thing, like snitches get stitches and stuff like this, and it's just like, and then you see what happens, right? When as today compared to then, how they switch it up. I mean, whatever happened to that? All of a sudden, you see everybody in it, like not everybody. Now, of course, not everybody, but you see a lot of them, the same ones who were basically bragging on about that, becoming snitches. But here's the thing, though. Here's my philosophy on that. It is actually a fact, too. They say this mostly when it applies to a cop. Look, man, a cop at the end of the day is still just a human being like anybody else, like you and me, right? I mean, we got bad people out there, of course. But look, unless a lot of this stuff that's happening right now, and a lot of TIs will tell you all that there's these people using these weapons are behind all of it. Because everybody is under these chemtrails. Everybody is surrounded by these frequencies. Everybody is literally around these people who are doing this. And the people who actually, whenever a person tries to, expose them for what they're doing, they get targeted. They get targeted. They get psyoped. They get their lives ruined. They lose their job, and so much so forth because of this reckless behavior that has plagued America for years. We're at a time where it's literally rearing its ugly head to a point to where it can't psyop its way out of it. It's getting to a point to where like it's really going to be exposed. When I aim to stop this organization, I aim to stop the people using these weapons to control people. And then see where things go from there, Because I don't think that with these weapons gone, I don't believe that all of this corruption would exist like this, man. Because it seems like it's a lot of repeated things happening, A lot of repeated things. I would actually show you all this thing. I don't know. Maybe I can. Just give me a second. Let me just let you guys see what it looks like. But you know what? Damn, I can't. I can't. I'll probably do a video and show you guys this later on. What it is, it's basically the repulsor that I made, with the orgonite and stuff like that. I'll just show that later. But yeah, I think I probably am going to try to stay in this thing all the way up until like 12 because it's been a while. Man, I know one thing though. What's that? The bad guys only care about racism when it fits their agenda or goes along with their agenda. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They definitely do that, and it's now when it comes to racism in the black community though, it does go back to slavery times where like they had the light skinned black folks in the house, dark skinned folks in the house, and it even goes even farther beyond that. And the more I started researching it, now when the slave trade started actually first started, and they actually got the slaves off the islands and stuff like that, nobody could communicate with each other because they were from different tribes, and they weren't getting along. It was either like they just didn't understand each other or whatever. So the fact that they didn't understand one another shows that there was actually racism even within amongst our own people, even amongst black folks. So like it wasn't something that started off with white folks, man. That's not something. No, that anybody who tells you that is a liar, because they're not going to teach you the history beyond that point, man. Anything around the 60th and 70th century, they don't. Was that the 16th and 17th century? They don't teach. They don't, because it would basically show you that there were actual black slave owners. Actual black slave owners. They won't tell you that stuff, man. And it's just been an issue we had to deal with for years. And then I laugh at the thought when somebody says a black man can't be racist. Dude, anybody, I mean anybody, I don't care what skin color you got, anybody can be racist. The only thing that matters is that you got to have the brain cells to be above that nonsense, to not, lower yourself to that kind of mentality, to have the kind of sense to basically say, something, man, I'm gonna judge a person based off their character. And if like I see that, the circumstances aren't what they need to be, so just when we got this tech out there, then I need to basically break the situation down for what it is. And the situation is just like this. People are being mind manipulated on a daily. People are being programmed. People have been, and they have done this to kids too. So when you have that situation in the equation, the only solution is to take down the actual unit that's programming everybody. Because once you do that is when you actually have everything get somewhat next to normal. But it's going to be like a crap ton of coping after that, man. It's like the men the moon like that has been out there for years. I mean, look at what happened to the MK Ultra victims. They didn't get no kind of reparations for their suffering at all. And to add insult to injury, the media had the gall, the nerve, to literally misrepresent John F. Kennedy's speech on what he was really talking about. They're trying to say it was MK Ultra. No, he was apologizing for the directed energy torture that was being done to several different people, and exposed the research they were doing, via radiational frequencies. That's what he was talking about. But they wanted to cut that bit out so they can continue doing what they're doing. Thinking back to now, the fact that it took this long for people to catch on is sad, man, because we lost so many people to this bullshit. So many people lost their lives to this. So many. And not a single one of them deserved that. None of them did. None of them did. Nobody deserved to have their life just programmed and literally manipulated while they're a defenseless child, not knowing that there's an enemy out there programming their minds like that. Nobody deserves that, man. Nobody does. Nobody deserves to be tortured by this mess at all. Nobody does. For people who don't know about this, there's two methods you can basically use to change your EEG. If you were to flip a coin, just have heads, label heads with something, and then label tails with something like a certain type of, subject or whatever, or an item, what you're going to do this, if it lands on that, what you're going to do here, if it does this, you can change your EEG with that. or you could also use a random number generator. Now, why am I bringing this up? Simple, because the guy who brought up the rant, who told about the random number generator, the whistleblower, he was killed in a train accident, and this wasn't no accident. Obviously, this was mind manipulation. This is what I'm getting at when people, like, so many people lost their lives. When I'm not just talking about I'm not just talking about a short field. I'm talking about a lot of people. Think about all those suicides that happened. Think about all of those mass shootings that happened. Think about all of these unexplained events that happened that just so happened to cause all of these devastating events to unfold, man. And then you start to understand just how evil this organization really is. Target individuals are not victims. Target individuals are warriors. We're warriors on the battlefield out there fighting for the truth to basically kick these assholes right where it hurts so that we can bring truth to the people and help them liberate their freedoms from this tyranny so that the next generation doesn't have to deal with this crap, and that they're also educated on how to deal with it if it ever rears its ugly head to the light of day again. Martin Luther King said it best: injustice for one person is an injustice for all. Man, that guy was right. Then I start doing some, I don't think this is true, but I started doing some research, and they're like, oh, well, like, Martin Luther King was a Mason. I'm like, come on, man. Like, seriously? And that's what I'm getting at when they put a lot of misinformation out there. It's a very difficult thing, because then when you think back, well, what like really was, and then when you look back farther back, you find out George Washington was a Mason. Look, man, a Mason is not it isn't a person of a particular race. You got black Masons, you got white Masons, you got Hispanic Masons, you got Chinese Masons. There are many different people of many different sense of color that are involved in this tyranny. It isn't a race thing. It's a good versus evil thing, and program versus, not so willingly programmed people that we're dealing with. Because even us target individuals, we're under the victimization of being programmed on the daily. Only difference is we fight it. We reject it. Now, for people who have pets that are going through this, there's another thing. The playlist, actually not the playlist, but the frequency for fungus is something you can use for that. The frequency for scabies, or the right frequencies for any of that stuff, is good for for your pets to get that stuff on them. I remember a lady left a comment saying that she was playing that, just to test it out, and her cat jumped right on her lap because of that, because the frequency was helping it. So definitely, if you need to, if your pet's feeling ill, because I've definitely seen Nappy Headed Roots channel, and apparently his dog wasn't doing too well. So I'm definitely hoping he's doing all right, as well as his dogs. I'm hoping, and the same goes for everybody else, of course. Definitely for everybody else. But that's definitely, like one thing you can basically use to help them out. Oh, man, dude. Looks like we're in 26 minutes in past 11. Looks like we got like about a good 34 minutes left. I'm going to try to keep this video going as much as possible. Or just until 12, of course. I'm hoping that, like, I'm not holding people up though, because I remember Vulcan, he had his live going on the other morning, and like he had a lot of good information going on. He even said he wanted one of the right frequency belts. Something, that just reminds me that I definitely got to start getting more in contact with local TIs. But I tried doing it through email, but they blocked that. They definitely block that, especially if it's going through Google. For a fact they're going to block that. And, as soon as I do research on that, I'm finding out, oh, okay, so they really do block trafficking of emails. Okay. All right, that makes sense. And then it gets to a point to where like they try to get it in your head where they're just gonna just mess with you on the phone, but they don't fuck with you when they realize you basically can literally find out their exact location when they do that. They don't do that when you can find out exactly who they are, where they at, and all that stuff. When you can like literally have that double-edged sword to where like they'll try to hit you, but then it hits them back in the face, square in the face. They don't like stuff like that, man. And when you start to really put your mind to certain things, you'll find out that they will definitely let up on a lot of stuff out of fear. Out of fear, man. Out of all the things, it is fear. All of these gang stalkers are afraid, man. They are cowards. They are cowards. They have no backbone. They have no strength whatsoever. They're nothing but a bunch of petty cowards hiding behind the strong arm, corruptive law enforcement that is basically there to protect them. You take that away, and they wouldn't do stuff like this. They wouldn't. Even if they're paid, they would be extremely, cautious to do it because there's a risk involved now. The whole reason why they try to get these targeted, not targeted, but these gang stalkers like out of the court system whenever they get like really caught up. Quite simple. It's because a single gang stalker can become a whistleblower, and these people know the people they're dealing with. So what happens when a single gang stalker defects? Spills the beans out on the whole operation, saying this person, that person, and that person's all involved and stuff like that. And they actually have the emails, they have the encrypted apps, all of the stuff they phototize that stuff, with another device to show all of that. Their system is very fragile. That's why they're so desperate to basically keep feeding these gang stalkers these trinkets just to keep them, in a state of obedience. But I've seen their behavior, man, and like I said, divide and conquer is even amongst them as well. I mean, it would have to be, otherwise we wouldn't have whistleblowers now. We wouldn't have people who were once on the inside coming out spouting out truth to help people in need who are also suffering from this. We wouldn't have any of that, So don't think that like their system is like almighty and stuff like that, and that it's like impenetrable. It is fragile as hell. It really is. Only problem is that it's just corruptive cops, corruptive court systems, all of that stuff that's in the way, But it's not so much as what they think. It's what matters, what the people think that matters. The truth that they don't want the people to see. To literally shatter that painted picture that they have to basically hide the ugly truth of what's really going on. I remember Brian too said like in one of his videos saying, look, man, if I'm being investigated for a crime, if I'm like responsible for something, then fine, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm trying to basically turn myself in, is what his exact words. Judge wouldn't even let him do it. They didn't want none of the stuff going to court. Why? Because if there's an investigation going on, they're going to have an investigation on the people around them as well as what they were doing. You can't fake a video of him being assaulted like that, man. That actually happened. Not the first time something, very strange like that has happened. There was also other things going on to where like they had also laced, not really laced, but like planted drugs on them too. Then I think back to where like a person was actually around somebody who was actually in a discussion with cops. So just a few cops, crooked cops, by the way, and there was a dispute going on, and they going like, "What's up? What's going on? What's going on? What he needs to do? You need us to basically give him a hard time, plant drugs on him." I'm like, "Are you freaking serious? These are cops talking like that?" Now here's the thing, man. It ain't so much as that we're dealing with corruptive cops. We're dealing with corruptive citizens too. But at this point, these corruptive citizens are no longer citizens. They're terrorists. All of them are. People who are basically working for this government that does this, the shadow government, people who are aiding into this stuff are part of the problem and are just domestic terrorists. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. Whether the people are being, controlled by this system or not, there's no denying the fact that they're in danger both to themselves and the people around them. There's no denying that, man. The fact that you got people just intentionally doing the wrong thing in the medical industry. Hold on, what's that, Rose? Hang on. I think somehow we are defeating their AI. That's why they. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that because, like with the system that's going on, like there's no way they're not trying to program it. Because I mean, like all of you most likely have also had the unusual dreams that they would try to beam onto you. That's why I use the Chaos's video when I get ready to go to sleep because like I'm not having that. And also I definitely do the detoxing as best I can. But as far as AI, man, I honestly don't know as far as the tech. But what I can say is that they definitely are they're definitely using this stuff from pre-recorded messaging and all of this stuff. But you see, like it just if you look at like how much they have to do, how much stuff they have to do, like the fact that they got to have some people out there in the fields. Let me tell you something. When I get to a point where I get in a really relaxed state, they always send somebody out to basically do that noise harassment. Always. So the PTSD is something that's crucially needed for this tech to work, right? Because if you get, stress, you can't really pick up on the subliminal messaging in order to reject it, right? So looking at it from that perspective, even Brian too himself said it that like this text is very fragile, and the fact that like I think it was like 180 days, just listen to some music and with the bone connection headphone, 180 days, and like the whole technology would just just be rendered useless. They had to either start over or just back the hell off. I'd say forget waiting 180 days. I'm detoxing this crap out of my system today. That's what I say. But any tips to help anybody is definitely worth it because a while back there was a time we didn't even know that the anti-nano bucket was there. We were it was points that we found out that apparently electrical magnetic pulses do actually kill this stuff off, and it does deprogram it too. Oh man. Wow. Let me get a drink here. There's no way I would ever succeed in giving out a thing, one of those long speeches that takes for about a good hour or two to go through. There's no way I basically hang on for that long. It's pretty dark in here. I may have to put the light on. Nope, there it is. Check your chart. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, man. Now that I think about it. Whew. All of that stuff laced with nanotech. All of that stuff that I just found out, man. All of that stuff. Clothing. Not just your clothing, your food. If that ain't bad enough, your faucet water. Now, I don't know if this is true, and I really hope it's not, but I don't doubt it. But someone told me that the water that's coming through our pipes, and I don't just mean mine, but everybody's pipes, right? Turns out That's not, all of that is actually the same water that literally hey, Barefoot Sun Gazer. It has been it has been a while since I checked out your channel. I definitely need to check out that. I've definitely most likely missed out on some content. But also, I don't know if you saw it, but definitely try to make yourself an anti-nano bucket if you can. Definitely do that because this thing literally helps out a lot with getting the nano dust out of your system. But man, gosh, I really hope I'm wrong about this, because if it's true, then it's really fucked up, man. Apparently, I was told a while back, before I was even aware of my targeting, that apparently the water filtration systems are actually siphoning water from the sewage system and just bleaching the. Wait, I saw your video. I haven't gotten to watch it yet. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna watch it tonight. Tony's from a while ago, or two. Oh, thank you. But I remember that someone told me like they said like something about the water filtration system. That's coming from these facilities that like treats the tap water. Turns out the same water that's coming from the toilets, after it's used, and as well as from the baths, are actually supposed to be going right back to these damn treatment centers, and then all they're doing is just bleaching. Wait, how much did it cost? Literally on a 0 to 0 budget, I would be homeless right now if it wasn't for Corona not getting evicted due to that. Did you actually try filing for unemployment, Sungazer? Because that's one thing you could definitely do. But as far as the bucket, let's see, the bucket itself cost me like around under, like I think like I pay no more than like under $10. Don't get the bucket online, don't, because they are charging out the ass for that. The copper wiring, like you could actually, if you had any unused appliances, you could just go ahead and, I don't know, maybe recycle the wiring from that. But also, you can definitely get your wiring from, your 12 gauge wiring from your local hardware store. How much is it? Oh, the nano. Oh, wait. I'm not really selling it. I'm not really selling the whole thing like that. I'm basically just showing how people they can make it. I'll just leave links to the parts and the prices for them. Now, this one that I made, this thing, if I'm not mistaken, because that 12 gauge wire I think was like around $10. The tape was like around $6. Wait, no, I didn't, cause when I tried to, the spelling, it's probably I see the bucket cost around under $10. The Scotch tape was like around $6. The copper wiring that I got, which I had got offline, lollipop. The copper wiring that I got was like around $10 or a little bit over. Definitely underneath 15 though. And then there's the AC to DC adapter. That I think was like around either between it was between like either under $10 or under 15. So I guess roughly like the whole thing, just to make the whole thing, just to give a safe assessment, depending on how much price, it just depends on the price. But you're looking, controlling my, I see. But you're pretty much you're probably looking like under $40 just to, overall for all the parts alone, That is, again, it depends on the pricing. If you get something like brand new, it's gonna cost a little bit extra. But if you get something like used or recycled, it's definitely gonna cost like a lot less. Possibly less than nothing, depending on how much copper wiring you got. Oh, they're controlling. Oh man. If you got any type of iPhone or iPad, it's, when it comes to the hacking with those devices, it's really just best to go with a Samsung device. Don't ever go don't go with iPhone or LG. Yeah, I know. I know, and you see, like it's very beneficial too. It really is. Also, I don't know if you saw, but I'm going to be making a portable shield for target individuals, and I'll actually show you all how to make that. But it depends on when I get, when those parts come in. If I get the bucket parts coming in first, I'll make that first. Or if I get the shielding, then I'll do that. Now the shielding is going to be with a shungite pyramid, not an organite pyramid, but a shungite pyramid. The shungite pyramid is basically what detoxes the radiation, and also the blocks away, literally just knocks away the frequencies. What I'm going to do is have the chakra crystals from the I know that on my iPad and I both are completely under control. All the tiny, yeah. Honestly, if I were you, I would just tell you the truth, just do a factory reset on that. Right down, just make sure you got your information down on the side written down so you can just recover it when you need to. But if you need a little bit extra dollars, just sell that off and get a cheaper device. Don't call me. Wow, now I'm embarrassed. Please don't call me that. Wow. Tellers. No, I don't think I've seen that. But yeah, the anti-nano bucket's not expensive. Oh, they're doing that. Okay. Yeah, I know. No, don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. It can't be any. Trust me. Like with the spelling, with the whole, with the whole thing going on with that, like it does get crazy. It definitely does get crazy when they manipulate like that. But I definitely understand. You factory reset at both of them. Yeah, you can definitely do that to basically knock them off. But like, do you have any type of anti malware apps on your phone? Because like Sweeper's one of the good ones, as well as no, like also one's good for like a no root systemization for the phone too, to basically prevent, because like when they do this hack into your phone, they put a lot of junk files through the background, and that's what's actually allowing them to do that. So you need to be, it gives you a better way to find them and clear that off. But wait, yeah, I just feel like at this point it doesn't matter what I get, because I got a Motorola Android, and within a week it was hacked and controlled. The second I fall asleep, they come in my apartment. Oh, wait, they're going in your... Hold on a minute. They're going in your apartment while you're asleep? You're saying they're going in your home while you are asleep? It's like this. I think they're still messing with her phone. Okay, here's what you can do for that situation. You can make noise traps. Oh, it's easily something you could just put in front of a door, anything like that, right? And what will happen is that, like, if they try opening the door, it's gonna make that noise. All you gotta do is have a recording device ready, and you'll be good to go from there. Because they won't be able to discredit that. But that definitely sounds very serious. You may want to get your, one thing, if you possibly can, get your locks changed, because and make sure that the only person, and make sure you have this recorded and filmed, that the only person you gave those extra keys to it, don't let your landlord have those those locks changed. You have those locks changed. And make sure you have it filmed that the only person who gets those set of keys is your landlord. So if they're trying a stunt like that, because at that point, the only way anybody could have gotten a set of those keys had to have been from your landlord, not from you. But yeah, that's definitely a dangerous situation. Oh man, we're like got like about a good 13 minutes left before this thing ends. Now then, I guess I could give some people some survival tips for when they go off, if they decide to go off grid. One thing you definitely always want to have is a fire starter. Now, the one I got like about two of them. It was pretty much a, hold on. They literally rent the apartment above me. Anytime I leave my apartment, they come in and take stuff. And the stuff around, poison my food, torture my cats. Oh man, I am really sorry to hear that. I actually I freaking love cats, but like I knew they were doing this stuff to their pets too, man. That is, oh man. And it's I try, believe you me, like I get that too. Like it's definitely a bad situation, and it's very unfortunate because like you got to go out supply shopping, and it would be best to have someone there with to keep an eye out. But like what they'll do, divide have the infiltrator to do that. Next thing you know, you coming home and the same stuff is going on even while that person's there. It's crazy. Situation like that. Honestly, the best thing you can do is as for food, and I think it looks like I got enough time to basically get this out. What you can do for food is don't have any type of food that is not sealed. Okay? Don't have anything that is not sealed if you're in a situation like that. Because that way, if they F with it and they knock me out with these frequencies that literally make me unable to even keep my eyes open. Okay, if it's going that bad, Barefoot, are you still using cosmetics? Okay? Are you still using cosmetics? Because if you are, you need to stop using that. You need to check out my ingredient watch out list, okay? Because it turns out every little bit of makeup that that women would use, it has nano all through it. I see. You know something? Damn. There was Yvette, a fellow TI. She told me something about damn. What the heck is the name of that? It's a certain type of thing. A little not a device, but like a certain type of door lock, to where even if a person has the key, the only way you can open the door is by being on the ends, on the side of where that piece of equipment is at, and you would have to remove it in order for the door to come open. If you know something, I'm gonna definitely have to get back to you on it. The police literally came to my apartment the next day after the door was secured, and I got one night of safety and peace of mind. 14 San Diego policemen to my apartment the next day for a wellness check. You know something, Barefoot? I think they're basically, you know what they're trying to do. Because again, unfortunately, it may seem like all innocent wise as at first I'm pretty sure law enforcement's involved. If you had seen the McDonald's incident vid that I actually had to go through prior to me actually going down to the McDonald's restaurant, I didn't eat from there now. But and they literally broke my new door down, even though I told them that I was well and I was in the house. Ooh, excuse me. I just didn't want to come out because the last time I trusted a police officer, they slam again. Hang on. I guess I know the. I already know like the text. It's a shame the text is limited. But everybody who sees this, please definitely show your support to Barefoot Sungazer. The more awareness we have of TS channels, the better. Because You know, when we have eyes on situations like this and it's being documented, people see what these perps are doing, and we know we are aware of what's happening. So they can't just go off and do this and expect to just get away with it. No, when a TI speaks out about what's going on in the neighborhood and they showing what's happening as a result, we know that there are people in that neighborhood that are involved. Mostly it tends to be people who actually know the TI, though, for the most part. Slammed me against the hood of my car and arrested me for no reason, so I literally have them on video yelling that they wanted me to come out with my hands above my head right now or they were going. A swing bar door guard is good. I think that may be it, Rose. I'm not certain, but I remember it was this thing. It had like a red handle to it, and the rest of it was just like metallic. All you do is just like place it in the socket of where the the door would actually, the door's locking mechanism would actually lock in place. You don't even if a person has a key, they can't get they can't get in. They can't. But Barefoot, definitely look into getting one of those types of locks, and definitely be safe and be strong. Keep us posted on your situation, and we'll definitely do the best we can to help you. I'm pretty certain every TI would definitely feel the same about that. Looks like we got like about a good to ram my door down, and the dogs were trained to bite me, and they would attack me. Then they proceeded to smash my door to smithereens and then leave me without even a door. Oh man, I am so sorry that's happening. Wait a minute, Barefoot, what part of U.S. are you in right now? Because the area may actually signify the amount of violence. Because I remember in my situation, my perps, right? They keep trying to get me to go down College Drive in Baton Rouge. Like, this wouldn't be the only time. They did it twice. The first time I said screw it, I went down there. Hang on, I'm being cyber sex trafficked by the police here, so there is no help for me. They'll find a way, and no matter what they do, it's literally completely hopeless. It's not a normal targeting situation. Barefoot, if they're using the weapons, you gotta just detox the stuff out of your system. You do that. Also, do you have the app in 8 state? It only costs $1 to get. If you don't want to do that, you could go through Aptoid and get it for free. But unfortunately, that's not the Google Play Store. That's actually a whole nother thing. But yeah, Barefoot, definitely get in 8 state, because that radiation that they're beaming onto you, that will help you out with that. If you can get some radiational stickers, that'll help with that. As for your home, if they're hitting you with like a lot of radiation, get aloe vera plants. That'll help out with that. But like, honestly, the best thing you can do is to be like literally live in a compound, because they can't do half the stuff they would normally do, in a regular neighborhood, like a house or whatever, in a compound, because there's cameras everywhere. They would get caught. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna pray for you, Barefoot. I'm definitely am, and I hope for your safety as well as I hope for every other TI safety. But definitely, if you can, for your home, it's definitely best to get yourself in a place that's more secure with cameras everywhere. I mean, here's the thing about the cameras: it's like a double-edged sword. Of course, they can definitely keep more tabs on you, but also it keeps them off bay, because they're exposed on the camera, so they got to play the part on the whole covert psyop thing. And when they do act out, well, it gives that you can use that as a way to get evidence as what's happening. And the more evidence you have, the more and more you could actually sue to basically get yourself in a better situation than you were before. But Yeah, definitely no cosmetics at all, man. No cosmetics at all. Like they put that stuff in there. Like you even got to be careful with the clothing you're buying. Thinking I'm probably gonna try to get some clothing from like a foreign country or something that's not okay. Now they, I shouldn't respond, but apparently these perps just gotta have like man. Okay, I'm just gonna go off and say it. These perps are attention whores in the new age of peeping toms. There, I said it. That's precisely what they are, and that's precisely what this is. Whenever it gets to a point where TI is just trying to have a common conversation, they always gotta put their 2 cents into right into the middle of it. It's crazy. Thank you so much, Rose, for that. Definitely, thank you so much for that. We definitely got to help as many TIs as possible. But Barefoot, the best thing you can do is try to find other TIs in your same area. That's the best thing you can do. But I see you say you're in San Diego. It's a total police state. It's corrupt here. I was literally doing yoga on a Tuesday afternoon, and they came and smashed my door apart. That's what I that's what I want so bad. I want to go off grid. I want to get away from here. I want to live in a compound, but they took my car away from me. Um, the thing about the car, Barefoot, is that that's also like a double-edged sword if you weren't aware. Now I am sorry they did take that away from you, but like if you weren't aware, they started integrating a lot of the engines. Oh crap! Only got like 1 minute left. I'm gonna probably add like an extra 5 minutes out there just to help out. Any information I can give out to help out a TI, I don't mind. Um, I spent my entire savings 7,000 on a lawyer because no, no, a lot of just about a lot of lawyers are paid basically are paid opposition. There's only like one in particular lawyer that was different, that was like a whistleblower and willing to go after this. You could actually check out Ella F's channel, and she actually has done an interview with that lawyer. I can't recall his name though. I spent a lawyer because they arrested me for no reason, 50,000 bill, and said that I was resisting an officer and was danger to the police officer everywhere. Here's the thing though, Barefoot, as a means of safety, always keep a voice recorder with you, some type of device that is not connected to the net. Always keep that with you. I'm trapped though with no car, and I know that now about lawyers. Yeah, I have never been in trouble before in my entire life. Yeah, I am deeply sorry about what's going on, but honestly, we may have to actually like if possible, do a caravan or something, and just just pick up as many TIs as we can to get the hell, just literally get out of here. If this stuff goes, way too far bad for everything, and it seems like it's getting that way, because I'm telling you, it's definitely going to be a civil war that's going to break out, and you do not want to be around that. We had 12:01. I guess I can just keep this for about it. I'm gonna let this go for about a good 10 minutes. I don't see why not. Totally panicking and had no idea what to do, and it paid $7 just to have the DA throw the entire case away on my first court date. You know something? What they were doing, Barefoot, it sounds like they were psyoping you with fear-based tactics. You see, now they saying that you were resisting arrest or anything like that, right? Well, first off, they would have to have evidence to prove that, and they would have to showcase evidence to prove it. But if they showcase evidence that shows that you're, that's not true, well, the whole thing is it's just out of proportion. As in, not to mention, like, hold on, and for being so wise and so. Thank you for always helping me, for being so your suggestions and advice. No idea how much I appreciate you and your channel. Oh, I'm very grateful to hear that. I'm glad that my this information is that I provide is helping a lot of people out. I mean, I'm going through a lot of mess myself, a lot of mess just from dealing with the perps I got to deal with on a daily basis. But I don't let that get me down. I do the best I can, even despite that. Every day, Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, you got to be careful with that though. I remember that it was a TI that said he took a Greyhound bus. It was either a male or a female. It's been so long, and apparently, you want to know something about this? I caught them trying to do this exact same thing to me on the public bus, and I had caught film. I actually caught them in the act of doing it, but they had hacked my device to where they basically got rid of the footage. I caught them installing a mysterious looking black box in the engine area of where the bus was at, right? And then I remembered back at this at what this one TI was talking about, how like they were on a Greyhound bus leaving town, and apparently some perps had something similar, but it was in a backpack that they had in the overhead carrier, and apparently they were hitting that person with frequencies, and it got so bad that like it was it was starting to mess with the internet on the bus, and the Wi-Fi went out, and people were going like, well, what's going on with the Wi-Fi, since they were hacking and stuff like that. So he ended up pointing straight at the perps. Dude, they got off trying to hide their faces, and everybody's phone who was on that bus got hacked, and it literally, and I'm not even joking, it it's such a crazy situation, because like all of these serious like all of these mysterious events happening, and people just don't like realize why it's happening. It's just like one of those Twilight Zone moments. So like when you're on the outside of the thing, you don't even realize what's really going on, and then boom, once you see it, you don't know it until like finally people tell you what it is. Unfortunately, we had it to a point where people just it was too much to where they didn't want to believe it. And I, what, I don't blame them for that, because like it makes sense. That's the whole point of their psyop, is that make it to where it's not a non-believable thing. Like they have it in their head. Well, like, well, why would somebody want to do this? Why would somebody want to do that? I mean, of course they're gonna do it, because I mean we see how desperate these people are for money, and we see that these people are being paid to do just that. You know. But definitely, the one thing I definitely want to do is try to find as many TIs who definitely want to go off grid, create a group, gather up some supplies too, gather up some supplies, because like there's no way going off a grid and on our own is gonna be wise at all. I looked up Nicholas's Hamblin's channel, and he was talking to a local cop. I think it was a local cop. I'm not really sure what his faction was, but he was just explaining to him like a lot of the things that they were doing. And, with the stuff he does had me concerned, because like he loves to, I mean, don't let them take your freedom away. Don't let them take your happiness away, of course. But he was skydiving, and he said that they were poking holes in his parachute. A lot of people would know that like when you go parachuting, you are thousands of feet in the air. Even when I first saw the parachuting, I remember back when he was a TI. Remember back that that he is a TI, and I'm like, man, this definitely, like, I just had a bad feeling they were gonna try something, and sure enough, they did. They definitely did. It's a crazy situation though. But Barefoot definitely look into getting some aloe vera plants if they're heating. If they're trying to cook you in your house. That'll help deal with that. Get the medicinal type if you can. 100% psyop. Whole point of them arresting me was so that they could take my car away from me, so I would lose my job teaching dance for a non-profit at elementary schools all over SD. Yeah, it's sad. It's like when you'll find yourself in a really good position where you love your job, and it's crazy, because like the people who like just hate their jobs and don't take their jobs seriously tends to be most times often the people who to be the gang stalkers. But like it's not. I mean, that's not always the case. People, could you fly on a plane? JetBlue is pretty cheap, but I remember a fellow TI told me that like out in Greece there was no chemtrails, like not at all, like literally none. And they went as far as to deport him all the way from there to back to the U.S. Like they didn't want him out there, man. And I'm like, if there's no chemtrails out in Greece, but then again, like whatever they didn't start then, they could have started now. You never know. And I'm just to the point to where I'm like, you know what? The only since this stuff is happening around the world, of course, they're going to be doing some stuff in Greece, man. Of course they are at this point. But the way I see it, the best option now is just to get off the grid because, like, staying on the grid, I mean, you're going to be what? You're going to be re-poisoned with this nano stuff that they keep spraying. The only way to stop it is to get everybody to wake the heck up and say, no, we don't want this. But then even when you do that, you still got to deal with the opposition of the people who are still pushing for it to happen, you know? And all the while this is happening, the real criminals, the ones who are responsible for all of this are hiding like a bunch of damn cowards. They never show their face in the light of day because they know if they get spotted, if they get identified, people are going to want to kick their asses for this. They know this. Let me tell you something. Those individuals will be in fear of their life no different than anybody else would, man. They wouldn't be. They may have a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of influence, but like they're no different. The only difference is that people just don't realize, and it's not everybody, but the people have the power. Not people with a lot of money, not people with a lot of influence like that. They just basically use different things to get certain agendas pushed forward. But once people had enough, like once you take away the workers from a very wealthy person, that person's not going to want to have to cook their own meals. That person's not going to want to have to tend to their own massive looking garden throughout a freaking big mansion or a three to 4 or 5 story height mansion. They're not going to want to have to do all of that. You don't have any idea how much work that is. You wouldn't be able to get any of that done in a single day. You know? Hang on. Once I lost my car at my job, I went from being totally self-sufficient to completely helpless, and I had just spent every cent of my emergency savings I had built up. San Diego is right by me. Mexican border. Cross over the Mexican border. Maybe. Definitely try to get in touch with local TIs, though. That's the best thing you can do. Definitely reach out. Definitely reach out. Oh man, looks like we're at 12:10. I guess that's gonna be it for this evening. I'll have another one going around the same time. I usually start it from 10 to 12. I guess I'll probably have it going from 10 to 12:10 or whatever. I don't know. So crazy that you say that literally have been going around San Diego stealing alloy. Wait, what? Hold on, what? Oh my god, it's so crazy that you say that. I literally have been going around San Diego stealing alloy plants from public property, like big ones that are in front of a Verizon and the bank of Target. But where would I go, Rose? Greek. My real name is Anna and pause. Oh, the alloy plants. 10. What they basically do with these weapons. Now you got to understand this nano dust. Oh wow, it's 10. It's 12:11. I guess I can keep going. Claim asylum in Mexico where there is a will, there's a way. I don't know about Mexico. I think it's just as bad in Mexico. Like I don't think no actual state is safe, man. No state, no country, any of that is safe from this because like it's happening in China, it's happening in Japan, everywhere. But anyway, I know they're medicinal and all. Yeah, well, the thing about the aloe vera plants, if you're not aware, right? Aloe vera actually absorbs radiation. What they do to your to your home or whatever is like they love to basically radiate the crap out of it. So what you have in those around that helps absorb that down when you're having the larger base plants. Yeah, they neutralize that and on the body. Did you know also? And actually, yeah, they definitely do. definitely do in a way. But they detoxify the radiation in the air. The reason why they put radiation in your home is to get the fungus-based nanotech to grow. So and if you're not aware, radiation causes fungus to grow rapidly. That's why you got to get rid of that. So if you find any of your food laced, don't throw it in the trash, leave it in your home. No, throw it away outside. Get it out of your home. Get it out of there. And clean up the surface or whatever to clean that stuff off. That's the best thing you can do. Okay, it's like 12. I think I soaked in this thing long enough. I don't know. I'll leave the chat going on for like around at least 12:20, or maybe you know what? Screw it. I'll leave it for like for about another hour or so. I'll leave it going up for another hour. But everybody, I gotta get some sleep. I gotta get some sleep. So I'll let you all just chat away in the chat. Feel free to. Okay, let's see. Alright, let me pour this thing out. Damn. I wish you all could see this right now. Hold on, where's the... Oh, there it is. Oh, man. Hold on. Were you even... No, this thing was definitely plugged up. At least I hope it was. Yeah, it had to be. It had to be. Yeah, there's the plunger right there. Alright. Oh, damn. Damn. It is not, and I repeat, not easy to walk after you literally get this stuff out of your system. Let's see. Check your chart. Yeah, I know. Alright. I'll be right back, everybody. Wow. Man. What table on to? I think his feet feel like wet noodles. Yeah. Whew. All right. Oh, looks like this thing's acting up again. Make sure your camera. Whoa, wait a minute. You're being charged, but you're at 3%? How does that make any sense? I guess they're trying to shut it down. It looks like, because this thing's literally at 3%, and I know this ain't the ordinary charger I'm using. Wow. This whole thing went up to like around. Wait, I could have sworn that would have been like 3 hours because I started this around 10, I think. Or was that 11? Huh. Nah. No, definitely the 2 hours because from 10 to 11, that's one. And from 11 to 12, that's two. All right. Oh, man. One of the things that every TI definitely needs to do, and I'm pretty certain you've all heard this before, but creating your own type of some type of shielding is definitely a good idea. Let's see. I guess I could probably show you all this before I try to hit the hay or whatever. I know a lot of people are going through sleep deprivation every now and then, and it's not easy dealing with that. Oh man. Ugh, all this sludge and crap coming out. Man. Whew. Alright. Actually, you know what? Yeah, this thing's there. Everybody, if you can hear me, we just hit 12:20. They're trying to shut off the live because this battery's dying out. Huh? Wait, how? Well, damn, I'm literally almost like 30. Anyway, I'm gonna have to end the chat here, everybody, because like they're kind of like overheating the phone. They really are trying to shut this thing down. All right, stay safe, stay strong, everybody.